that. And one other thing. Gotta plug this in. Ta-da. And ladles and jelly spoons. Welcome to Truth, Love, and Peace. I am joined today by Mr. Jason Simonds. Simonds? That's a good thing for me to start on. Just fuck something up right out the gate. That's about right.
All good.
That's about right. No, I thank you for correcting me.
That's actually why my stage name is Jason Diamonds, because no one's gonna fuck up diamonds.
That's very true. That's very true. I'm trying to figure out where I want this cable to go.
Fair enough.
I thought I had a plan, and it's trying to get in my coffee. That's what I keep having to be like, no, you are not invading my coffee, you stupid little wire. It's trying to be skitsy. All right. Okay. There we go. The coffee is safe. So, Jason Simonds, mea culpa for messing up your name. It's good to see you, dude.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Sorry, my OCD gets a little wild sometimes. But there you have it. I want to be able to see this meter, so I'm going to do this too.
Yeah,
there we go.
You gotta do.
Always arranging stuff. Yeah. So, it looks like there is audio on the live stream. We're recording stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Not that anybody's watching us. Doesn't matter. Get my hand out of your face. All right. See, look, there we are.
Cool.
Ta-da. Hey, whoever that one viewer is, if you get a chance, shout out if the audio is sounding good. So, here we are. I know you, and we met through the stand-up comedy scene. I'm just checking meters. That's why I'm not actually looking at you. But we met at BackPorch Comedy, and you do some magic, which is awesome, because I've always enjoyed magic, but I don't have the patience to learn it. So I'm very curious about that. This whole podcast situation is called Truth, Love, and Peace, because I like hearing people's story, and so I know what my truth, love, and peace is, but the reason I like hearing people's stories, and these are the fallback questions if you ever get stuck and don't know where to go, we always fall back to what's your truth, where's your peace, and what do you love? It's pretty simple. But like I said, stories. So, your story, are you originally from Pensacola? Did you grow up around here?
No, I grew up in D.C., Washington, D.C., in Northern Virginia, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
I had no idea. Cool.
But I'd actually get shipped down to Mobile every summer because my grandparents were in Daphne.
Oh, yeah?
And instead of paying for daycare, my parents would just put my brother and I on a plane and fly us to Mobile, and we'd spend all summer in Mobile and then fly back. So I kind of was around here. Like, I remember when Gulf Shores didn't have condominiums, it was just trailer parks.
Yeah.
So
by speaker. So when about was that? That would have been the 80s?
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
I don't want to age you.
I don't care. I'm 45 next week.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm 38. I'm not far behind you. Learning to love it. I see people hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. If you can hear me, type yes. If you're watching this right now, you'll make me feel better. You'll help my OCD.
Anyway, I've been in Pensacola since about 2000.
Since about 2000?
Yeah, so for a while.
Man.
Doesn't seem like that long, but...
What do you do when you're not doing magic and telling jokes? Or when did you start telling jokes and doing magic?
Well, I started doing magic on my honeymoon. Like,
That's when you decided to be funny?
No. That's when I started to learn how to do magic. Yeah. It was
how did that come to be?
We went on a cruise out of New Orleans, and there was a little magic shop in New Orleans that we hit before we got on the cruise.
I think everybody's been there, yeah.
And I bought a bunch of little toys and took them on the cruise and got bit by the magic bug on my honeymoon. And
that is not what you're supposed to get bit by on your honeymoon, Jason.
Well, there were other things going on, but
you have to breathe sooner or later, right?
Exactly.
There's always that 15 minutes
in
between. What are you going to do? Why not magic?
Exactly.
So you learned your first tricks on your honeymoon.
Mm-hmm. And
What
then
did your wife think of that?
Oh, she loved it. You know,
Good.
She thought it was fun stuff.
This is good. I was gonna say, did you ruin your marriage right then and there? But no, she's an awesome woman, and she supported the magic.
Yeah, she supported it, and she's picked a lot of cards. You know.
That's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, very cool. So, if I could pick your brain real hard, what in that moment do you remember, like, seeing somebody? Like, was it Houdini or what made you think, hey, I'll learn some magic?
Well, they have a guy out there doing tricks, and he does a trick and tries to get you to come in. Then he shows you the trick.
So this was pure spontaneity.
Yeah, and it was.
That's great.
It was always something I thought was cool as a kid and stuff, and it was just like, yeah, I want to buy this crap.
So do you remember which ones they were?
Yeah. I got a coin trick, and I got like 2 card tricks, and
that's awesome.
Yeah. I actually have the coin trick here. I could do it if you.
It's up to you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to ask you to do anything on camera that you don't want to do. I have great respect for.
No, I don't mind.
For the magic.
I wouldn't offer to do it if I couldn't do it on camera. You know.
I understand.
Let's see here.
I understand. It is a dimly lit car, so that helps.
Oh shit! There it is. All right, I've got a $50 and a Mexican centavo.
Okay.
It's like a 1-cent piece in Mexico.
Right.
You should see their quarters. They're the size of dinner plates.
Not worth the coin it's made on.
Here, hold out your hand. Now watch this. I put the centavo there, right? And we put the $50 there.
Right.
And if I just give it a little squeeze, look, do you feel that?
Yeah, I did.
Look, it went through.
You bastard. How'd you do that?
It went through your hand.
You
Isn't
little
that
magic
crazy?
man. You little magic man.
Yeah, look, I got that one there.
So that was one of the first magic tricks you ever did?
Yeah, it was one of the first ones I learned. And,
that's great.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That's great. I never had the patience for the repetition necessary to get the skills right, to learn it. So that's awesome.
Well, that was the problem. When all the stuff I got was all gimmick stuff, you know, and like the card deck. Like I got a deck of cards, and I could do tricks with it. But if you said give me that deck of cards, I'd be like, oh no, you can't have this deck of cards. So when I did that for a couple people, and I realized, shit, I got to learn how to do sleight of hand if I want to be able to use any deck of cards. And so then I went down that path, and that was that was pretty fun.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was a lot of reading and a lot of there's books on card magic that go all the way back to like 1684. I think it was the first one. It was like the discovery of witchcraft.
Fascinating.
And but in the early 1900s, there was a bunch of books on like card cheating and all that. Well, actually, there was one book on card cheating, and it had also had a little thing at the back with magic tricks you could do. So I went to like those type of books, and then I also joined the Magic Club here in Pensacola, the Gulf Coast Magicians Guild. Yeah.
The Gulf Coast Magicians Guild.
Yes, sir. And
sounds like things I need to be doing. Wonderful.
They've been around for a long time. When I first got there was probably like 50 people involved. Now it's probably about 15 people. But
hey, I'm glad they're still doing it though. That's great.
Yeah, we still keep going. But they would bring lecturers and like other magicians, and these guys would come in and teach their tricks and teach you.
If anybody wanted to find that, what's the easiest way to catch up with those guys? Just Google Pensacola Magicians.
Gulf Coast Magicians Guild.com.
Okay. Cool.
And I think they have a Facebook.
We'll definitely be looking into that. That's cool. So, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, just more of a plug. They meet the third Thursday of every month. So
third Thursday of every month
at the Bayview Senior Center. There's like a little dog park there. It's like at 20th and Lloyd.
Nice. For those of you watching on YouTube wondering what the hell I'm doing, it's getting comfortable. Don't mind me. I have bad habits of slouching. A whole nother thing. Anyway, third Thursday of every month. And it's Thursday, and I feel like we should plug Cordova Lanes since we're on Thursday because we're at Cordova Lanes. We're at Shooters. we're here early on a Thursday night because Matt Mosley runs the longest standing open mic in Pensacola, and we all love Matt Mosley and the Shooters open mic. Sorry.
Yeah, this was my first open mic. It was here at Shooters.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was it was like card trick for like 3 people in the bar, and like Jason Switzer and Matt Mosley, and Jason Switzer was like, "Hey, where's the jokes?" Because all I did was magic at that time. But that's how I got into the comedy scene here. It was it was mostly, you know, after doing tricks for my wife. After a while, I had to do tricks for people.
Yeah.
And you know that old adage, you never show someone the same trick twice or whatever. It's not really quite that way, but
I didn't know that was an adage. Tell me about that.
Oh, that's like a magician thing, you know.
There's
like,
a magician's code that says don't show people the trick more than once.
Yeah, because they might, you know, the first time is entertainment, the second time it's a lesson.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. I get that.
So the first time people are like, ooh, and the second time they're like, I'm gonna get you. You know what I mean?
And they're watching for it.
But you know, I burned through, like, I had people at work I would do tricks for, and I had my wife I'd do tricks for, but I needed, like, a real audience. And so I started doing street magic at gallery night, and then somebody suggested I look into the open mics, so I started doing the open mics also. So,
And I'm glad you did, because I enjoy watching your stand-up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Magic comedy. It's good.
Yeah, Jason Switzer is the one that, like, you got to get jokes in there. You got to get the jokes.
Well,
so that's what I've been trying to make it funny.
With the comedy audience, they like hearing some punchlines, so that makes everybody happy for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I want to double back. You mentioned the magic history and all of the books behind magic history. I'm familiar a little bit with that because of a guy by the name of Ricky Jay.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen his documentary?
I've seen a couple of his
shows.
Well, I've seen a video of his show, the 52 cards.
Yes. What is it? Ricky Jay and his 52 assistants.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Was the Broadway show? I can't remember the director's name at the moment, but that was
amazing.
A doozy of a show. Yeah. That's the one where at the end he's in what looks like a little library on stage.
Yeah.
Looks like a little study of some sort. That's really neat. My favorite illusion that he ever did was the napkin into a moth. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that, but
it's really neat. Yeah, it's a really neat one. So Ricky Jay, I saw his documentary, and he did a really good job in his documentary of talking about how he's collected all of this art history that goes along with magic, and the magic art, the posters, and all that good stuff. And so he was very informative. That was my first entree into that thing. But he's someone that, as a fan of magicians, I look up to that guy, especially because of all the information I got from his documentary. Do you have people in magic that you think fondly of?
Oh yeah.
Aside from Ricky Jay,
there's a lot of magicians. Yeah, there's a magician named Pop Hayden.
Bob Hayden?
No, Pop Hayden.
Pop Hayden. Okay.
He was going by Whit Hayden, and like about 10 years ago, he reinvented himself because he was entering old age and gray hair.
Yeah.
And one of his mentors had told him that you reinvent when you get to a certain age, you have to reinvent yourself because the jokes you were using as a your pattern and everything just doesn't work for an old man that it worked when you were younger. So he invented this Pop Hayden character, and he's got like a deep southern drawl with it, and he doesn't have a drawl if you talk to him normally and all that. So he like goes into like full character. He's there's another Robert Houdin from France. He's a French magician. He was from the 1800s, and he's the one that got magicians wearing tuxedos instead of wearing like robes and like cone hats. His idea was, let's wear what everybody, what a gentleman would wear in the evening in like late 1800s in France, and he had this saying that a conjurer or a magician is just an actor playing the part of a conjurer. You know, I'm probably butchering all these quotes, but
no, that's quite all right. You're doing way better than I would because I don't know any of them. So.
But Pop, you know, that's what he lives by. You know, so he created this character, and he, you know, and just like when he gets on stage, he just lives that character, and it's awesome, man.
Kind of like Larry the Cable Guy, but with magic.
Yeah. Well, no, not exactly. His character is that he's an 18th century, like con man that built a teleportation device and teleported into the 21st century. So you know, he's from like the soapy sales era and the you know he actually went up to Alaska and got pictures taken in like this Alaska town that celebrates Soapy and the Klondike Gold Rush and all that. But he's one of my favorite magicians. I love all the magic that guy puts out. And another guy that I love is his name is Steve Reynolds. He's a friend of mine that I met in New Orleans. And you wouldn't have heard of him. He writes magic books, so only magicians have really heard of him. And he's done some trade shows for like corporate people. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have any television shows, but he's an awesome card worker. I mean, he is just amazing.
What's his name again?
Steve Reynolds.
Steve Reynolds.
SteveReynoldsMagic.com.
SteveReynoldsMagic.com. Hell yeah, man.
And he did street magic, and he helped. And like when I started doing the street magic, I was reaching out to him because he does street magic in New Orleans over off you know.
Those guys are no slouches,
across from
man.
like Cafe Du Monde and all that. So you know,
that's big time. Those tourists expect some fancy shit.
Yeah, I'm just a little part timer. I'm a weekend warrior, and these guys are doing it like every day. So
they make a living doing that.
He tries to. Well, he does it mostly to like
keep his chops up and shit.
Yeah, get his chops up. If he has a trick that he wants to, you know,
perfect. That's his repetition. That's his practice.
He can just go over and do that trick. You know, that's the beauty about street magic is that I can do like a 3-trick set and just flip that set and do that same set 10 times in one night, and it's a lot of good practice. You know,
very sneaky.
You know, it's like it's like 10 shows. You know?
I wish I could tell the same 3 jokes over and over and over and get away with that 10 times a night. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could do that 10 times, and you know I can do it like once a month at gallery nights. Like I tried going to the Saturday things, the Saturday thing on Palafox. What is that? That farmers market thing. And my buddy and we set up, and we didn't make any money, but we did it there, and it was just hot on a Saturday. At gallery night, it's nice because you know it's evening and the sun's gone down. It's not
dark,
beating down on you, and
yeah, I don't like the heat.
Well, you're in the wrong.
I know. I wonder why I moved back down here. You know, I grew up in the South, but yeah. I'm not sure I'm destined to die in the South.
My problem with I like to wear a suit when I perform these days, and
you got to get over that.
It's brutal. Oh yeah, when I do street magic, I have like a short sleeve shirt and a vest and shorts now. You know,
I love my blazer too, but it spends more time hanging in the summer than it does on.
Oh, definitely.
I bring it with me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do on stage, respect the microphone. Yeah, no, 90 degrees. Sorry, I love you, microphone, but
I'll do it inside. You know, if the AC's on.
No, I can't even.
I need all the pockets.
Well, it's a different thing. Yeah, it's a different thing.
This is like your kilt. This is my.
Right. You just need a lighter weight jacket. That's what it is. I've got kilts that are like bathing suits.
Oh yeah.
You need a bathing suit blazer.
I actually saw this short sleeve shirt blazer. It was like a blazer with short sleeves, and my kids were like, "You should get that."
You
I'm like,
definitely should have one of those. I would love to see you in one of those. That's the perfect Florida comedian accessory, I think, is the magician's Florida blazer. Because it's a vest with short sleeves.
Pretty much.
I want you to have one so bad. Matt Mosley just got here. Hey, Matt.
How can you see it?
Just
Okay.
my contacts aren't that old yet. I don't know. Well, you're looking through
Yeah.
more window haze than I am. That and I know what to look for. But, que sera. Oh, man. Magic is awesome. So I gotta ask, what do you think of, since I don't get to sit down with musicians very often, what do you think of David Blaine and Chris Angel and all those guys? Do you have an opinion on any of them, or does it matter?
Well, I think David Blaine does great magic when he does magic,
Mm-hmm.
and his performing style is not for me.
Yeah.
But I think he helped, rekindle a big love for magic with a lot of people with his street magic specials in the 90s.
Yeah, I think that's very true. That's
And
very true.
Chris Angel's the same way, Now, in the magic community, Chris early on would get like a bad rap for like using stooges and stuff.
Oh, really?
But
A lot of plants, huh?
but I don't know much about that now.
Was
I don't
the
know if he's
rumor,
doing
the
that now.
hearsay,
But
the grapevine.
it's magic on TV. It's good to, it's good for us, really.
Good for
I
you.
love Penn and Teller Fool Us. That's my favorite show on
Yeah?
magic on TV right now.
I love that you say Penn and Teller. I love Penn and Teller too. I've been
Yeah,
Penn and Teller fans for a really long time.
Me too.
I was so amazed at how well Teller could keep up the mute act.
Oh yeah.
Just the dedication as a kid, because I grew up watching it, and so year after year after year, it was something that grew up with me, and I was just like, this is amazing.
Well, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
When he gets off stage, he'll talk.
Well, yeah, I know,
But
but
it's
in
like-
public, on camera and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it
Although
never
there was
happened for
one
me.
Fool Us and it cracked my ass up, because they have that British guy, I forget his name, and he's like, do you ever just get so get so anxious that you just can't say anything? And then Teller goes, oh fuck no.
That's great.
Yeah.
Those guys are hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful duo. Just thinking back at some of the spectacles they've put together, they're really fun to watch.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
fun to watch. And Penn's a character on and off the stage. I love listening to his rants and his opinions.
Oh yeah. I loved his show Bullshit. I don't know if you ever checked that
Yep.
one. Yeah.
That's one of the things I was thinking of. Because I think one of the reasons is that magicians and comedians fall into some of the same categories, where to be good at what we do is to strip away the bullshit. And so there's a lot of common ground there. Like on some level there has to be, I think everybody knows from a comedian the turn is coming. Like there will be a prestige and there will be a reveal. And so there's a lot of terminology that's the same, I feel like.
Yeah.
But that's from the comedian's side, not the magician's side. I don't know if that looks the same to you.
I don't know the comedian terminology really. I'm
You just get up there and make people laugh anyway.
I'm relatively new to it, and I actually reached out. Like the person that told me about it. Her name's Alicia Wood. She's a stand-up comedian in Seattle, I think, right now. She was working in California, and she put me in touch with a guy named Eric Tate, who's a comedian in Columbus, Ohio. He's also a magician, and he's the one that suggested I check out the open mic scene. And he actually is doing really well. He was just on Penn and Teller's Fool Us recently, so he's doing pretty good for himself. And he also won like a magician award at the International Brotherhood of Magicians convention in July.
Wow.
So he's a pretty. His show is called Slide a Beard.
I'm a big fan
I've
of
never
beard.
seen it, but yeah,
I'm a big
I
fan
want
of
to
the
see
beard.
it. And he also had another show
Sorry.
called Please Shuffle the Cards, which, which is pretty bold to make a whole show on cards if that's what he did, because it's hard to make card tricks entertaining. It's the holy grail.
Yeah,
is to make it really entertaining.
Which I guess that's why Ricky Jay is so revered, is because he's someone that can do that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I have to ask, have you been to the Magic Castle, or do you have plans to go before you die?
It's on my bucket list, yes.
Nice.
It's on my I haven't made it out there yet, but it's there.
Well, I want to go with you when you go. Please take me with you. Well, I don't want to dwell on the Magic too long. Something I did want to bring up, try and include something positive all the time, and if there's something you want to plug, but the public service announcement, let me press this button before we do that. Yeah, it's just the camera records in 30-minute segments. But you have in common with my partner in Stinger's Comedy, Emily Dillon, a very rare form of
we both have leukemia.
Leukemia. That's what it was. I didn't want to stumble out the wrong
That's all good,
word.
yeah. We both have leukemia, and we're both... she has CML, I believe, and I have ALL, but we both have this chromosome, the Philadelphia chromosome. And it's something that caused our leukemia. I don't understand it exactly. I was diagnosed last St. Patrick's Day, like 2017, and I spent last year... I got diagnosed, got admitted to the hospital, started chemo, and spent like the next 23 days in the hospital. And then they told me that I would need stem cells because I had that Philadelphia chromosome. And they don't do those in Pensacola. I'd have to go to...
Look, say hey to William.
Hey, William Tucker. How are you, sir?
You got $1, man. I need $1. Where's my money? Could you give me $1?
No.
I need a drink.
I ain't got no money.
Can I borrow this vehicle?
You can have all of it if you want to be on the podcast.
Is that a government? Did you get government cash?
I got all kind of government.
Government play with my brain, baby. You don't even know. I need a drink.
Okay, we'll send the government in to finger your brain soon.
Are you guys broadcasting right now?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Wave at everybody. Say
All right.
Hey, special guest.
hey. William B. Tucker, everybody.
Yeah, you can keep that. You can keep that.
Oh, good, because we don't edit on this podcast.
All right, I sorry to interrupt you. Keep the magic alive, my man.
It's all good.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Yeah.
William. That's one of the reasons that I have an under-the-radar kit, is because nobody knows what's going on. I'm pretty sure William saw us on here and knew what was going on. But it is one of the reasons that I like having incognito stuff, because we can fly under the radar if we need to.
But yeah,
So sorry, that got us off track.
I had to go to Houston to get my treatment.
That's what I was gonna say.
And I spent 9 months in Houston last year.
Yeah.
Getting treatment. And it was
That's got to be crazy, having something that's rare. That's
it was rare, and they said the ALL is normally a children's form of leukemia. It's rare in a 45-year-old man.
What's it like standing around all these people that are paid to think they're professionally uber intelligent that don't know what the fuck's going on?
Here in Pensacola, it was kind of weird because, like, once I told the doctor I was going to Houston for the rest of my treatment, it was like she'd just washed her hands at me. It was she would try to talk me out of going to Houston.
What?
Because she said I could do the same treatment and then just go when I needed the stem cells, which was like 9 months later. But when I talked to a doctor in my family, that's a cousin, he was saying I needed to do the treatment. He said it's best to do all the treatment in one place. Mm-hmm. So, like, where you're getting your stem cells, you want to go ahead and do your treatment there. And so, I made the decision, like, to go once I found out I'd need the stem cells. And after I talked to him, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna get you out of here and get you, you know.
Fucking Pontius
So I
Pilate
didn't go
of that
back
shit.
I didn't go back to Baptist. I did that at Baptist. So now I go to Sacred Heart. But I went to MD Anderson in Houston, and they took care of me. It was pretty rough. I didn't have to do any more 3-week stays, but I did do it. Like, it would usually be about a week stay. And then there was a couple of times where I would end up with what they call a neutropenic fever. And, well, the way the leukemia works is it's a blood cancer, and my white blood cells and my platelets aren't getting made correctly or aren't being made. And as a matter of fact, when I got diagnosed, they told me I had like 11 white blood cells and like 13 platelets. And a normal person,
in your whole body.
Yeah,
that was it.
That was, yeah. And so that was like, you know, way below, that was critically low. You know, why are you still standing in front of me is what the lady said, you know.
Wow.
And so what the chemo does is it kills all of that. And then I'm basically my immune system is shot at that point.
Right.
And then my immune system would recover, and then they would do it all over again. They would hit it again with another batch of chemo, like every month. So I would like get a week of chemo, spend the next 3 weeks recovering, and then blam, do it all over again. And I did that. I came home in November and started the maintenance chemo, and it's not nearly as intensive. I don't have to. It's all outpatient. So that's. But the BackPorch Comedy guys actually threw a little thing for me. Sorry, I got chemo brain right now. I just had chemo last week.
Oh man.
So
jeez.
They had and it was the first time my wife had actually got to go to the show.
I think I was there for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Williams was, I think, the headliner, and DK was there, and Tony Burkett was there, and I got to hear like some of it, because Matt Williams recorded some of it and sent me a copy of it.
Do you remember that? I was there for that.
So that was a lot of fun, and so I've got a special place in my heart for everybody in Pensacola and Mobile comedy scene, man.
Oh, me too, man. That's where I got my start, BackPorch. Olivia Searcy was hosting the open mic my first night up, and happened because she was hosting, she was taking pictures of everybody. Got a picture of me. It was serendipitous. The first time up, had a picture. It was a wonderful thing.
It's awesome.
Carolyn Richards.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sent you some hearts on there.
Cool.
Glad you can hear us, Carolyn. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, she's my dad's cousin.
Oh, cool.
And he actually went over there with me because my wife and my kids were in school, and my wife stayed home and got them through the school year. And
wow, that must have been so tough.
So he went and spent most of that 9 months with me.
That must have been really tough.
He swapped out with my wife for a couple months in the summer.
Yeah.
And like he and my mom took the kids and did the grandparents with the kids for like 2 months. And
wow.
My wife got to go to Houston. And
well, you mentioned stem cell as part of the therapy. And
oh.
I know there are a couple of different versions of that. What did that look like for you?
Did not need the stem cells. That was the other neat thing. When I got to MD Anderson, I went and met with the guy, and he said, yeah, normally we would give you stem cells, but we have a clinical trial going on, and if you want to be part of the clinical trial, we're seeing a better survival rate without a stem cell, with this pill. So I have to take this pill for the rest of my life, but
no stem cells.
But no stem cells. And if things go sideways, I can always try the stem cells, because I guess that can happen. But right now I'm in remission. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yep, I have to go to Houston every 90 days right now, which is kind of a pain, but yeah, it beats dying.
Do you do some magic and some comedy while you're out there? It's a good chance to get in front of a fresh crowd.
I haven't done comedy yet. I have, I've met a bunch of magicians out there, though. They've got a really good magic community.
If you're going to get drug out there, you should definitely go visit. Make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, before we wander in here to Shooters to see Matt and William, is there anything that I haven't really touched on? I mean, I definitely want you to get the plugs in for people that or if you have networks or all that good stuff you want to share with people, by all means. That's what this is all about, is sharing information. So feel free. But other than that, philosophy is a big part of this whole thing. So one of the things I'm curious about, anybody that it's forced to deal with their own mortality. I think that's different than most people. Not everybody has to have that conversation in a very real way. Like, I had a near-death experience. I was run over by a flatbed trailer. So ended up in the hospital and all kinds of not fun stuff. And that had a big impact on my life, I was 13 at the time. So kind of changes the way you see shit.
Yeah, it does.
And so, do you have any thoughts similar to that or along those lines in regards to the way you saw the world before all this?
When the lady from Baptist told me I had a 30% chance to survive, like, I was like, oh, wow. And I was accepting my mortality and making peace. And you know, at that point, everything was just along for the ride. There was, work told me to go on, get my treatment, and so I just show up, go, the way that worked is I just followed what the doctor told me to do and kept on trucking. And the other thing I did is I read this book by my friend Aaron Fisher recommended to me. It was called The Power of Now, and I want to say it's Eckhart Tolle is the guy that wrote it. And I read that book, and while I was reading it, it reminded me of a lot of what my grandmother would say. She was like the most positive woman I knew. So I decided to try to channel her and just try to be as positive as I could about it, because if I was gonna die, then so be it. Ultimately we all are.
Yep.
So
Sooner or later.
Once I got past that and accepted that, everything else was more,
A little easier.
It was a little easier. And the Eckhart Tolle thing was, just trying to stay in the here and now. And that's always a fight, but
It is. I can't separate Eckhart Tolle from Buddhist.
Oh, it's very Buddhist.
Those kind of things. So, did you have any religious predilections before Eckhart Tolle? Was that no. Hey, how you doing? Sorry, my left foot got a little heavy there. That was my bad. Did it shake any religious foundations for you, or are you kind of open to all that kind of stuff to begin with?
It actually reminded me of some of my stuff I'd learned when I was younger.
Yeah, what?
I went through when I was I grew up Catholic, and
what is this nonsense?
Then I was going to this church called Unity, which is like a non-denominational Christian church.
Yeah.
And it was more of they taught more of a Buddhist philosophy. Well, they taught a very Buddhist Christian philosophy. They were talking about how,
We're gonna take a moment.
It's all good.
Moves. I don't know what these people are doing, and I don't trust stupid people.
But anyway.
Yes, please continue.
It's a very, I don't know. I have, religiously, I'm not a real religious person, but, spiritually, I've had my share of spiritual experiences, and I believe in a loving God and all that, I guess, and, or I do, and not I guess, but, it is what it is, so I don't know. It didn't really shake anything. It just kind of reminded me to try to be positive and keep the open mind, and there wasn't much point in dwelling in the negativity because it just attracts more of it. And
that's good, though. That's good.
So
those are all great revelations, I think.
But yeah, put out what you want to get back. It's very karmic.
Yeah. To expound on that a little bit, how How do you keep that attitude in the midst of, or in the moment of 30% chance of survival? Like, I know some moments are harder than others to keep your sanity. I've had a few myself, but...
Well, when you're laying in a hospital bed for like 20 days, it's, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot to think about there. And, you know,
Yeah.
I had a choice to make, and the choice was either, you know, I could mope and, you know, woe is me, or I could just, you know, move on past this. You know, if I did something to bring that onto me, forgive myself for it, and accept that this is what it is, and keep and try and, you know, again, you know, the people that were, you know, the nurses and all that, you know, all I could do was be, you know, thankful and helpful to them, and try to, you know, smile when they came in, because there wasn't a whole lot I could do. You know, they'd seen me in my worst, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There wasn't any point. You know, I didn't. You know, it was just one of those. You know, you could either be negative or be positive about it. And like I said, I was trying to channel my grandmother, and she had this saying, you know, today is the first day of the rest of your life. So I don't know.
It paints a very good picture of the same thing I believe in. You know, that the truth is inevitable. So when you lay all the cards on the table, whatever is, you know, that hand is the hand that you have, and you can freak out about it, or you can sit peacefully and accept it and realize it and own it, or you can freak out and not understand or miss the compassion that is in that vulnerability. So that is the near perfect analogy for what it is that I believe. So thanks for softballing that out there for me, because that's awesome.
Cool. Sounds like we just have pretty similar beliefs.
Yeah, well, I think that goes back to people that have had near-death experiences. It's I say that capital T truth is just the culmination of every small t truth perspective. And everybody has their own perspective. So if you want to find the truth, you have to add up all the perspectives. Well, there is the glaring difference in most perspectives for me is that hindsight's 20/20. And people that have fucking died see shit that other people just can't see or haven't seen yet. And it's a different thing. It's not positive or negative, but it's a perspective that shows people. It showed me there's a whole bunch of shit you need to not worry about. Like, there are more important things. It's a very stark reminder of what is important and what isn't important. And, so yeah, it's something that it's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, is because I felt like you could help share some insight into that, because my incident was very much traumatic and physical and in the moment, versus your incident, which is what I'm glad you expounded on, of the mental battle of people telling you things that may not necessarily be, you know, this long drawn out process. My mental illnesses couldn't handle that. My mental stability would be shot. Like, if somebody came up to you and said, you are something other than what you think you are right now, and it's going to kill you. I'm like, I'd lose my goddamn mind. So good on you for keeping it together.
Well, thanks. I'm still trying. So.
Well, you're doing a damn good job. Congratulations. Is there anything else that you want to make sure we include before we wander in here and tell some jokes and you do some magic?
I'm good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jason.
Thanks for having me, Compton.
Simonds.
Yes, sir.
Like diamonds.
Exactly.
I'll never get it wrong again, I promise. So for everybody out there in all of the other places, we'll say goodbye accordingly. We'll turn this YouTube off.